right, welcome back to the channel, Ducks Hockey and More. Thanks for coming back. And if you're new to the channel, hey, thanks for stopping in. Don't forget to go down and subscribe, smash that like button, hit the notification bell. That way you're up to date on all my new releases and everything else. Work's been really busy, so we're trying to put out videos as much as we can here at Ducks Hockey and More. Not that easy. But today we're going to talk about some trade rumors. Man, I love talking trade rumors. I don't put a lot of stock into them, but man, they're very interesting to see who's talking about who and what teams they might go to and that kind of thing, so stick around. Okay, so trade rumors, guys. Okay, trade rumors in the NHL. Okay, it's Saturday. I believe it's the 19th of November, 18th or 19th. Should have checked first, but it's Saturday. A lot of games on tap this weekend. There was only one last night on Friday night. Kind of a weird gig. The NHL schedule is very unusual, but one game last night. Vancouver actually beat the Kings 4-1. Go figure. I was very surprised at that outcome, but hey, good for Vancouver. So today there's a bunch of games going on. Get out there and watch them. You got to watch these games, guys. Hockey fans, today's a big day for hockey. Lots of games. Let's jump into this trade rumors, okay? Trade rumors. Look, I've talked a lot about in previous videos, Jacob Chickering, a lot of teams looking for defensemen, one being the Toronto Maple Leafs, just because their blue line's banged up and it's just not that great. And they need some help on the blue line. But let's dive into the newest of the trade rumor name that's out there, Erik Carlson of the San Jose Sharks. Erik Carlson, who was an Ottawa Senator, landed a big deal in San Jose. I think he's getting $11.5 million a year. I mean, just a huge contract that he signed. He has a full no trade and no movement clause. So he controls his destiny, if you will. So if he does get traded out of San Jose, obviously San Jose has to come to him and say, hey, are you willing to accept a trade to blah, blah, blah. And he's in control. He could say, heck no, not doing it. So he's in control. He's got the ultimate contract in that regard. But his name is out there. Mike Grier, the GM of the Sharks, the newly named GM in the offseason of the Sharks, is entertaining trade talk. So if there is something that sparks his interest, he may pitch it to Carlson to see what Carlson wants to do. Now, Carlson is off to one of the most amazing starts of any defenseman's career, but specifically him. He's had a tough couple years in San Jose. Point production hasn't really been there. Not this year. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that Brent Burns is no longer a San Jose Shark. Even though you would expect those two to be an ultimate tandem on the blue line, putting up points left and right, it seemed to hinder Carlson more than help him. Because here it is, first year after Burns got moved to Carolina, and Carlson woke up, and it's like it's his team. He's got this rejuvenated look out there, and he looks like the Carlson of old. From the Ottawa days, big time. Just to give you some stats, 19 games played. He's got 11 goals and 17 assists, folks. 28 points so far in this year in 19 games. That's huge. I mean, this guy's on an epic pace. So he's definitely showing that he can do it. He can still do it. It's not, come look at me, look at me, look at me. And so I know there's going to be a lot of teams interested. Here, the weird thing about this, or the interesting thing about this, is San Jose is going to have to retain a lot of his cap hit and a lot of his salary, $11.5 million, and that's for another 4 years on his current contract. So that's a big chunk of dough, and San Jose is probably going to have to go, we'll take half of that, and the other team would take the other half, of course. And San Jose is going to get a big return in doing so if something does happen, and they move Carlson. They're going to get a good return for him, for sure. It's a couple of good prospects, maybe even an NHL caliber already going type of player that can put up points, and they're going to get some draft picks, a number one for sure. I mean, they're going to get a huge return for a Carlson trade, but they are going to have to retain half of his salary, at least half. That's typically what they end up doing. Some of the teams that are interested. Reading about it today, Senators. The Senators going back to the Ottawa Senators, a reunion with the Senators. As interesting as that sounds, I don't know if that's something the Senators can do. They've got a lot of players that they want to keep, and they're going to have to sign those players. You know what I mean? So taking on Erik Carlson and his salary, that's a huge cap hit, and that limits their ability to be able to do something like that. They might have to let go of some players that they've acquired to do it, or move them too. So it'll be interesting to see, but I don't think Ottawa is going to be in the game on this. I just don't. I don't know. Florida Panthers are a team that's in the hunt for Erik Carlson, apparently. That would be an interesting a move. I think Florida is a good landing spot for him in the sense that Florida's lost a little bit of their punch. They're not quite as prolific as they were last year, which is interesting. I don't know. Adding a Carlson to the blue line would definitely help them kind of get back to that. And so that's an interesting landing spot for him. The Washington Capitals have been rumored to be involved with Erik Carlson. They have a lot of defensemen that will be unrestricted free agents, and either going to re-sign or they're going to end up moving them before the end of the year if Washington doesn't do well towards the end of the season. So they could involve those, maybe a couple of their unrestricted free agent defensemen in order to get a Carlson. So move some pieces on the blue line to get a Carlson, maybe something like that, so that they actually get something out of those defensemen that'll be UFAs at the end of the year. Who knows? We'll see. But Washington Capitals, interesting. The word is that Washington wants Ovechkin to break as much of Gretzky's records, blah, 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 blah. And maybe bringing in Carlson will help him do that. But either way, in my opinion, Alex Ovechkin is one of the greatest hockey players to ever play the game, but he is his age is starting to show. He's slowing down. You can start to see it now. Ovi isn't Ovi anymore. He's still an amazing hockey player, but, bringing in a Carlson, I don't know if that's going to all of a sudden boost his numbers enormously or anything like that. But moving on, another team interested or could be interested, Anaheim. Anaheim Ducks. My team, right? Would I want an Erik Carlson? Well, of course I would. I think that would be huge for the Ducks. They've got a great young decor. I think they could easily use an Erik Carlson. Now, is it something that Verbeek would want to do moving forward, getting a veteran defenseman? They did Klingberg with the 1 year, but I think the intention there is to move him before the deadline. I really don't think we're going to hold on to Klingberg, especially the way this year is going for the Anaheim Ducks. And I think the same you could say for Carlson. He's just an aging defenseman. I don't think that he's going to want to take on that kind of money. I really don't. So the Ducks probably won't be a landing spot for him. But moving on, that's your Erik Carlson news. We'll see where he ends up going, if anywhere. He may not. He has the ultimate say, and he's got, San Jose is playing so well for him. San Jose may not want to really move him. But you never know. The Vancouver Canucks and Bo Horvat. Now, we all know the Vancouver Canucks, even though they won last night against the Kings, they're in a really bad position this year. They're doing way below what they themselves, of course, expected, but what all NHL lovers, hockey lovers, NHL insiders, you name it, thought Vancouver would be at this point, not where they're at. So I think Vancouver's starting to entertain some moves. They went out and got Ethan Bear, and they made some moves like that. Obviously, that hasn't proved to be successful yet. It is a little too soon to say whether or not it will be. But Ethan Bear isn't like the oh my gosh trade. Now they're going to do great. I think Bruce Boudreau is probably going to get moved, and I'll talk about that in a sec. But Bo Horvat, I have a feeling with the numbers he's putting up, Vancouver's can't resist if there's a good enough offer. I think Vancouver's going to want to keep him just because of how well he's doing. Who wants to lose a player like that? But given their situation, their standings right now, the NHL, where they're at currently in the standings. Maybe moving him is the right thing to do, right? I don't know. I'm not an expert when it comes to this, but Bo Horvat to me is definitely making a name for himself. Listen to this, guys. He's off to a great start. 18 games played. He has 14 goals and 6 assists. 20 points for this cat. So over a point a game, almost a goal a game. Man, I mean, Bo Horvat is just tearing it up right now for Vancouver. So it's interesting to know. I mean, Horvat, Pettersson, some of their bigger prolific players, they're putting up the numbers. It's the depth. It's the defense, the goaltending, that depth that is keeping Vancouver from being where they need to be. Islanders. The New York Islanders are a big team that's interested in Horvat, is what I understand. And they have some pieces that might be enticing for Vancouver to move Bo Horvat and maybe get a Josh Bailey in return, something like that. I mean, imagine getting Bailey. He's only a $5 million cap hit, I think. So you get Bailey, and he just signed that deal with New York. You get Bailey and some picks, send Bo Horvat to New York. That would boost New York Islanders roster. I think it would help them a lot. And especially right now, they're doing well. So maybe that's what they need. Maybe that's a good move for both teams. Maybe it is. Kind of sounds like it, at least on paper, right? Some other interesting names and news. Maple Leafs and Tyler Myers of the Vancouver Canucks kicking the bucket around maybe. Maple Leafs, we all know. Maple Leafs need some defense. Muzzin's out. He's gone. Their defense isn't playing as well as they need them to. They have been doing well as a team as of late. They stumbled. Then they regained their oomph, and they're playing well again. So I think moving forward, Toronto knows they need a defenseman. They need somebody to shore up that blue line. And I think they need somebody that has good mobility, not necessarily an offensive juggernaut on the blue line like a Carlson, but somebody that can put the puck in the net and make some plays, can move the puck and pass the puck really well. Not a stay-at-home guy. They just need somebody that's got the best of both. Let's put it that way. But I think Tyler Myers would be a good fit for them. I think that would help them a lot, actually. And with Vancouver's situation, that's something they may consider. LA Kings, they have a lot of depth on the blue line, especially with right-handed defensemen. The LA Kings, I think they have like 4 on their active roster, their right-handed defensemen, and a couple in their prospect pool in the minors. When are they? I mean, right-handed defensemen, if you don't know, very sought after by NHL teams. Everybody likes to have 1 or 2 right-handed defensemen on the team. So I think that this is something LA needs to exploit and possibly try to move some to get something in return. That would bolster their roster and help them make a deep run this year. I have no doubt the Kings will be in the playoffs. And, adding Kevin Fiala, that's huge for them. It really is. I think it's going to help them quite a bit. But maybe there's that one more missing piece that they need, and moving one of those defensemen or a couple of those defensemen might get them that. So anyway, LA Kings, they've got a lot of depth with those right-handed defensemen. Let's see if they try to move them or do anything with them. Jacob Chickering, I've talked about it before. Jacob Chickering is a young defenseman. He plays for the Coyotes, but he doesn't want to play for the Coyotes anymore. He's been injured. He hasn't even stepped on the ice and played a game yet this year. He's about to. So he's supposed to come back Monday. Arizona is supposed to be taking on the Nashville Predators, and Jacob Chickering is supposed to be on the ice playing in that game. Now, the big thing with Jacob Chickering, there are a lot of teams involved with this kid. He's young. He's very good, puck-moving, point-producing defenseman. He's had some injury issues that, obviously you never, the risks you take, right? But he is finally going to hit the ice, and there are a lot of teams that are going to be watching this kid and to see how well he does. It'll be interesting to see. I've said it before in previous videos. Jacob Chickering will get moved before this season's up. The better he does for Arizona as he comes back, the better his chances of getting moved to a contender, if you will. Ultimately, there's a lot of teams that want Jacob Chickering, and they're going to be watching him like a hawk. Here's a list of some of the teams that I've read recently that are showing more interest, okay? Some of these I've mentioned in previous videos. Go check them out. Ottawa Senators, St. Louis Blues. That's a new one. Same with the Senators. Toronto Maple Leafs. We've talked about that. The Maple Leafs need a blue liner. I think that they would be a high on Chickering's list of places to go because they're a potential contender year in, year out right now. So Chickering might want to get in on that. Columbus, I don't know if he'd want to go there, but the Blue Jackets are interested. Florida Panthers, there's another team that he might end up going to. And the LA Kings are also involved with the Chickering talk. Here's a team that's new, my team, the Ducks. The Ducks apparently are another team that are interested in Jacob Chickering. And I, myself, would love to see that. I think that because Pat Verbeek has made it very clear he wants to have a younger team, we're rebuilding. Okay, it's hard to watch, but we're rebuilding. And Jacob Chickering is a young defenseman that would be around for quite a long time. Verbeek could sign him long term. He might end up being a great fit. Okay, because Klingberg's going to get moved. Shattenkirk won't be a Duck next year either. There's a lot of things that are going to start happening. So Jacob Chickering could come in, and we've got the cap space anyway. So I think it's a good spot for Jacob. And I hope the Ducks go out and get him. Hey, listen, Bruce Boudreau, the Vancouver Canucks, another little quick back to Vancouver thing. Bruce Boudreau, we've talked about it in previous videos. Is he going to be fired? They won last night. I don't know. We'll see. He's a good coach, people. I really feel like that. But for whatever reason, kind of like the situation in Anaheim, where Dallas Eakins and the Anaheim players just don't. You see it. You could tell by watching. They just don't mesh. So Dallas Eakins is definitely going to end up either getting fired this season, which is what I hope happens, or Pat Verbeek will definitely not keep him moving forward. So Dallas Eakins is on his way out. We'll see how soon that happens. Bruce Boudreau, you might be too. And I've heard the name Rick Tocchet dropped as a potential replacement for Bruce Boudreau. Tell me what you guys think, Vancouver fans, down in the comments below. Bruce Boudreau's gone. Rick Tocchet? Who do you want as your replacement? So let me know in the comments below. Hey, thanks for coming by and subscribing, or thanks for coming by and watching. Don't forget to go down and subscribe, smash the like button, hit that bell notification so you know when I'm putting up new content. Thanks again. I appreciate all your guys' support, and I'll keep putting up videos as often as I can. Thanks for watching. See you next time.